Okay. The following scenes were witnessed on the morning of April 15th, Sunday, April 15th, 2018, at the beginning of the last winter lunar cycle, Sspopiikimi, of the frog moon. And as you can see, the waters on Sspopiikimi are finally becoming ice-free. The thaw is underway. Around the beaver lodge there's a big pool of open water, and it's filled with a bunch of waterfowl, mostly golden eyes, common golden eyes, and they must be having just a feast of pike minnows. I always notice that the golden eyes like to kind of fish along the ice edge, along the shelf. Whether they're in the river or in the pond, this is generally where you find them, is positioned along the ice shelf. But there are a couple of buffleheads in here as well. I think in a minute we'll get a closer look at them. The buffleheads kind of stick more out into the open, and they were, unlike the golden eyes who were concentrated on hunting, the buffleheads were doing some seasonal displays of sort. As you'll see in a minute. But yeah, finally the waters are opening and things are going to get underway. New life is going to erupt at Sspopiikimi. So here's a look at the buffleheads. These bufflehead ducks, look at that little head gesture there. So watch them do their display. Look at that. There's that female. So yeah, I don't know if the males are doing like a dance-off, trying to compete for this broad, or what's going on here. But it's definitely some kind of a courtship type display. Some chasing, some antics. I never see buffleheads doing this because they don't normally visit the pond. Sspopiikimi. I think they're only here because their preferred waters are probably still mostly iced over. In fact, you'll see there's a couple of different waterfowl on the pond today who are not our regular visitors. This is part of the migration, and it's probably just an issue of where they can find some open waters to get into. Alright, here we're getting into the wide south pool, what I call the wide south pool of the pond, the oxbow. And up here we see a goose who's sitting on an island. This happens to be the very first island I ever collected eggs from. And it could even be the same goose. I don't know how long they live. Most birds of size live significant lives. So, but anyway, I think she's sitting on a nest. We're gonna get a look at her from another angle in a little bit, but I think she's sitting on a nest. That she has a few eggs there. There's a bunch of different waterfowl out here, and we'll get some closer looks at them. At this point I'm kind of on the southwest side of the pond. I'm going to get into the duck blind where we can see better. Here we go. So this is a pair of hooded mergansers. This is another kind of waterfowl that, although I find them regionally, when I used to work on the blood reserve, I would drive some of the irrigation canals and I would come across them out there, as well as on some of the kind of the alkali lakes. But never see them at Sspopiikimi. I don't think I've ever seen them at Sspopiikimi. Maybe once or twice. I don't recall. Who are they coming across here? I think, who is this? Lesser scalp. There's a bunch of lesser scalps out there today too. They do stop by Sspopiikimi during the migration time, but they never stick around for the summer. There's a American coot in the background. The coots are rolling in. You can hear them in the audio once in a while. They're starting to get up their orgy song rolling. And there's a scalp again. And let's see, who all are we looking at here? Not sure. There's a redhead duck. Now redheads do on occasion nest at Sspopiikimi. In fact, one of the ducks that really taught Mahoney and I a lot during our first few years was a redhead female who was identifiable because she had a white patch on the back of her head. So I'm looking forward to it. If we have redheads, this might even be one of her descendants. If we have redheads stick around in the pond this summer, I will not mind at all. They're a little bit different parenting than the mallards. There we got, what is that? I think it's a shoveler duck. And you can see the goose on her island nest, what I think is her island nest. She's just sitting there. Incubating eggs, I'm guessing. Probably not many, but she got things started. So we'll be able to follow her development. It should be 28 days. And off to the sidelines, we had Sspopiikimi today. Great blue heron. Yawn. Just hanging out in these reeds, preening. Heron's finally able to access the fish he likes. Up above, we had a bird of prey. I don't even know who this is. Could be a juvenile eagle, not sure, but kept coming around, kept circling back, and was going to go after a duck. We never saw him actually take one, but it's a view of the river, which is now entirely ice-free. Wasn't so even a couple of days ago. And Friday was my last visit before the Sunday visit. And other than the water and the waterfowl in the forest, we noticed the flicker. This flicker couple here, this is the male. We're starting, I think, to work this cavity. This cavity might have been, might have begun before, I don't know. It looks kind of dark, doesn't look like it's newly chipped out. But the couple was here messing around with it. Well, I don't know if it was a couple or two different males, but there was a bird here when I approached, and then this one kind of swooped in and the other one took off. This one's been pecking around in that hole. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. And then last but not least, small but large in our hearts, are the western thatching ants. Actually the largest ant species in my region. And they were out and about today repairing damage that the flickers did over the winter, digging into one side of the nest. Yeah, just tons of them. So, and actually I saw a tree swallow today as well. It wasn't able to get an image of it. It was just a single bird, and it swooped past us 3 or 4 times. But I am expecting them to arrive, so it's good that we're starting to get some insect life, because they absolutely need it if they're gonna make it here. So that was April 15th, in the beginning of the new lunar cycle.